32 creative world flags made by true geniuses. Just like a person's style can say a lot about them, flags can tell you so much about the country, region, or state they represent. Most flags are rectangles, but what about the few that aren't? And what do all those colors and symbols really mean? But before we get into that, here's your friendly reminder to subscribe to our channel. We've got lots of fun, informative, and thought-provoking videos coming out daily here on The Bright Side of Life. The Nepalese flag is shaped with two triangles rather than the traditional rectangle. These triangles represent the two peaks of Mount Everest, which sits on Nepal's border. The story that goes along with the symbolism says that as long as the sun and moon printed on the flag exist, then so too will the country of Nepal. Since a rectangle is, by definition, a shape with four sides and four right angles, all squares are technically rectangles, just ones with equal sides. That's good news for the national flags of Vatican City and Switzerland. Turns out they're not so far from the norm after all. The iconic Red Cross used by the International Committee of the Red Cross, not to be confused with the American Red Cross, another humanitarian organization, was inspired by the Swiss flag, although the colors are inverted. This was done in honor of the ICRC's founder, a Swiss man named Henry Dunant. Vatican City flag, also known as the flag of the Holy See, is modeled after the flag of the earlier papal states and includes a depiction of the Vatican coat of arms. The majority of world flags, 55 to be exact, are horizontal and feature three tricolor stripes in their design. Red, white, and blue, as I'm sure you've noticed, are the most popular colors. At least one of them is pretty much always present on a country's flag. Jamaica, however, scrapped this go-to color scheme on August 6, 1962 in honor of their independence from British rule. Their flag now features a yellow, black, and green design, and it's the only national flag that doesn't include any red, white, or blue. The only country in the world to feature purple on their flag is Dominica. It's there to honor their national bird, the Ciceroo parrot, which has a beautiful shade of dark purple on its chest. The bird is indigenous to the island of Dominica, but with only about 300 of them left, it is unfortunately an endangered species. While blue is certainly a popular color to use in national flag designs, the shade tends to be in the navy or royal family, not aquamarine. The Bahamas is completely unique on that front, with this shade on the flag representing the water that surrounds the islands. The yellow stripe in the middle represents the coastline, and the black triangle on the left symbolizes the unity and determination of its people. The Bahamas adopted this colorful design in 1973 after gaining independence from the British Crown. These last few flags have been relatively young. We've now come to the country with the oldest continuously used flag in the world, Denmark. Affectionately called the Dannebrog, they've been using this flag with a white cross on a red backdrop since the 14th century. Funnily enough, while Denmark has a law against insulting the flags of other countries, the same courtesy isn't extended to its own. One of the youngest national flags in the world belongs to the Republic of Seychelles. This flag is only 22 years old, putting it in that awkward place between millennial and Gen Z. The easily recognizable Canadian flag is adorned with a maple leaf. However, their representation of a maple leaf doesn't exist in nature. It only has 11 points as opposed to the nearly 20 that can appear on real ones. There's been some speculation that Canada's stylized version with 11 points represents their provinces and territories, but there's no truth to this. The 11-pointed maple leaf has no real significance whatsoever. It just looks cool. Japan gave its flag, known as the Nishoki, a partial makeover in 1999. The red circle, which represents the sun, used to be a dimmer shade of red and a bit off-center. It's now brighter and perfectly proportioned. The flag of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, phew, that's a mouthful, is called the Union Jack. But did you know that all those lines and crosses are a combination of the countries that make up the UK? The St. George Cross of England and Wales, when combined with St. Andrew's Cross of Scotland, makes up the flag of Great Britain. Throw St. Patrick's Cross of Ireland into the mix and you get the iconic UK Union Jack. The Philippines changes its flag depending on whether or not the country is at war. In times of peace, the top half is a blue stripe and the bottom half is red. In a state of war, they flip the flag upside down and the colors get switched, while the white triangles in the side, depicting a sun and 3 stars, stays the same. The Paraguayan flag is also pretty unique. It's double-sided. The front shows the country's national coat of arms, which says República del Paraguay, and the back depicts the seal of the treasury. It proudly proclaims Paz y Justicia, meaning peace and justice. A lot of national flags have depictions of animals, nature, tools, or weapons, but the flag of Belize is the only one to feature people. It shows two men holding the national coat of arms. Beneath this design, you'll see Sub umbra floreo, meaning under the shade I flourish. Portugal's flag is the only one to feature a scientific device in its design. Behind the Portuguese shield in their national coat of arms sits an armillary sphere, which is used to calculate coordinates in astronomy. Its presence in the flag pays homage to the Portuguese navigators who set out to explore the world. The Bhutanese flag has a dragon on it to allude to the country's Tibetan name, which translates to the land of the dragon. It's holding jewels in its paws to symbolize the country's wealth. Mozambique's flag shows off the country's dedication to education, manufacturing, and defense with its design. As for the foreground on the left, it shows a red triangle with a yellow star in the middle encompassing the image of a book, a garden hoe, and an AK-47 assault rifle. The Brazilian flag is a green rectangle with a yellow diamond in the middle. Within the diamond, you'll see a blue circle depicting the Starry Night. The configuration of these stars forms the constellation of the Southern Cross. The band running across the sky reads Ordem e Progresso, which means order and progress. The Southern Cross constellation can only be seen below the equator, and you won't find it just on Brazil's flag. It's featured on many flags of countries located in the Southern Hemisphere, including Australia, New Zealand, Papua New Guinea, and Samoa. Nauru's national flag tells its observers where the country is on the globe. The dark blue symbolizes the Pacific Ocean. The yellow stripe in the middle is the equator, and the star just below it marks Nauru's position relative to it. Pretty handy, huh? Qatar's flag is the longest, with a proportion of 11 to 28. The right side of the flag, which fringes into the white left side, was red until 1936. The dyes they used burned in the sun, so officials just made the flag the brownish red we see today. The flags of Indonesia and Monaco are incredibly similar. So similar, in fact, that Monaco protested Indonesia's design once it was presented in 1945 after they'd gotten their independence. However, Monaco's protests were rejected. It turns out that the Indonesian flag is actually the older of the two, so they get to claim the design. The only difference between the two flags are their proportions. Monaco's is 4 to 5, while Indonesia's is 2 to 3. Romania and Chad have a similar problem with their flags. Their designs both feature 3 vertical stripes in blue, yellow, and red. The only difference between them, 2 varying shades of blue, is virtually impossible to distinguish. I think Romania's might be a little darker. What do you think? Sound off in the comments below. Mauritius' national flag is the only one to feature 4 horizontal stripes. Their flag is fondly known as the 4 bands, and these bands hold a lot of deep meaning. The red at the top represents their struggle for freedom and independence, while the blue beneath it symbolizes the Indian Ocean, where Mauritius is located. The yellow is the new light of independence, and the green at the bottom represents their agriculture. We sure have talked about a lot of colors today, haven't we? You might be wondering, aren't there any plain monochrome flags? Sorry, but no, not anymore. There used to be a few though. France's flag was entirely white from 1815 to 1830. Afghanistan's was plain black from 1880 to 1901. And Libya's was just a green rectangle from 1977 to 2011. France has since added blue and red to its tricolor flag. Afghanistan threw in red and green with their national emblem in the middle, and Libya now has the addition of red and black with a white crescent moon and star in the center. The flags of the world are just as diverse as its people. Sure, some look similar, but that doesn't make them the same. Each and every one of them is totally unique and has its own special story, just like us. So, what does your country's flag look like? What does it symbolize? Tell us in the comments below. If you learned something new from this video, give it a like and share it with your flag enthusiast friends. And always remember to stay on the bright side of life.